Hello, this is part 5 in our series on parent-child attachment. And so this video is going to be focusing on parent-child relationships in adulthood, mostly between the ages of 25 and 64. However, there's a lot going on between the ages of 25 and 64. In those earlier years, a lot of the time, the kids are having their own children. So there's, a part of this stage where they're becoming caregivers. And so I'm going to touch on that. And also just the relationship between adult children and their parents. So the song that I wrote on this topic is called Give and Take. And it's really about just the reciprocity in the relationship in adult parent-child relationships. And so it's written as a conversation that is very similar to one that would happen like between myself and my mom. If we sat down to have coffee, a lot of the things that we say, I could imagine just being a normal part of life. And so I sang with my sister, who just has such a lovely voice, and we kind of took turns singing the melody and harmonizing. But you can't really tell because apparently our voices are very similar. So if you imagine it as a dialogue, that will kind of give you the desired effect that I was going for in writing the song. And part of that was intended to show that, as a child in an adult parent-child relationship, I still feel like a need for my parents, maybe even more than I did, as an early adult and potentially even as a teen. I feel like now that I have kids of my own, I, need help watching the kids or just with various things. If we need to do projects, I reach out to my parents more than I did earlier in life. And while my parents are both in good health at the moment, I know there may be a day when they need more of my help too, and I will be happy to step in and take care of them in whatever ways I can. And so there's just a lot of give and take. There's a lot of reciprocity. And so some notes just to make about the relationship that the adults who now have their own kids, our new parents is just to touch on that maternal sensitivity, again, that being aware of your kids, trying to communicate with you and figure out what they need and meeting those needs promptly. That is one big part of developing secure attachment. And it's also been found that mothers who have secure scripts, like I was talking about earlier, like believing like I'm worthy of being cared for and I believe that people can be trusted and want to help me, those things are linked to secure attachment behavior in infants and toddlers. So working on our internal working models, even in adulthood, is always beneficial. And also, again, working on like something called mentalization, which part of that is the mind-mindedness I mentioned earlier, that being aware of or trying to understand like what is motivating our kids, like where are they coming from, and kind of talking through what they might be thinking based on their external factors, like what's happening, and their internal factors, like their feelings, and communicating in that way. And that helps them to develop, vocabulary to talk about those things themselves. And another part of mentalization that I haven't touched on is something called like reflective practices. And so that's thinking about like how the way we were parented affects our parenting, and also thinking about the way that we're parenting as we're parenting and making adjustments if needed, like noticing, hey, we were doing this one way, but that's not really working for me now. So moving on from there, in the parent adult, or the adult child and parent relationships, in this stage there may be a change in the caregiving role, that throughout your life your parent was always there for you, but as parents get older there may be health challenges, and there may be a point where whether it's the son or the daughter needs to step in and have a bigger role in caregiving, and sometimes the adult child becomes the parent's attachment figure, because they become the one who's kind of responsible for providing safety and comfort and the protection and all of those things that we've talked about a couple times now through the series. And so when it comes to the responsibilities that are involved in this stage of life, it can be a lot. You're taking care of your kids, potentially, taking care of your parents, possibly. There can be a lot of stress and environmental factors that just put pressure on the adult child. So a couple of things that can help are developing good coping mechanisms and investing in your well-being. So if you are a caregiver in this time, don't neglect taking care of yourself, because those things, that coping and well-being, those will help yourself and in your relationships. So I hope this is helpful.